Really? Is it necessary for me to make this video? Absolutely not. Let me run you through a quick story of what's happened over the last 7 months. I tried making a video on people not making enough money and wage theft and things, but ultimately realized that I can't just make jokes left and right at the expense of people who don't get paid a living wage, and scrapped the idea. But here's a small tidbit of what came out of it at the time. Time for more anecdotal evidence to segue into my next point. I had two friends who were arguing about whose job is harder, and without disclosing the jobs in question, I made a point that one of these people has to do what the other one does, but for significantly less money, to which I was met with, well, in my area, the McDonald's down the street is starting at $15 an hour, and at the same time, me and him said two different things. He claimed that was bullshit, and I claimed that it wasn't enough. As you could expect, this did not bode well, as it became me versus him rather than him versus the other him, and it devolved into a whole conversation about the demographic of people who work minimum wage jobs, where I was explicitly told that fast food workers do not deserve to get paid whatever the livable wage should be, because most of them are teenagers who live with their parents and don't pay bills. So now you know that a lot of these opinions were drawn from that conversation. I'll give in and say that teenagers who live with their parents and don't pay bills don't really need a $15 an hour job, but the line has to be drawn somewhere when it comes to every other demographic of worker. They need more. I couldn't exactly find a figure on what the minimum wage would need to be today if it functioned as mentioned up above. I want to say something in the realm of $25 to $30 an hour, but all you would need to do is Google your state's minimum wage, calculate that rough wage out over the span of 40 hours a week for a month, and you'll find that most states are blatantly too expensive to live in, partially due to the wage thing and also because the housing market is fucked. Me and my team went through 2 different iterations of finally trying to make a group channel. No joke, we made the channel, fucked off for another 2 months or so, and then finally sat down for a combined total of about 10 to 15 hours discussing, planning, and building out this team. Between the course of my last video and now, I've been consistently producing for one podcast. About 3 months ago, I started my second podcast. I've been streaming anywhere from 4 to 6 times a week while consistently producing content over for the Nothing Is Anything YouTube channel, trying to increase my advertising efforts from all walks of content we make, still trying to release music on a fairly regular basis, and working a full-time job on top of all of that. And I've started to come to terms with the fact that I may have spread myself a little too thin, but I've gone so hard to reaching some degree of success that I can't really back out now. So the only logical solution is to add more to my plate. As a result, I can't guarantee that there will be that same degree of consistency here, so this next section is effectively just my way of telling you what you can expect from me and my team moving forward, so that if I'm dormant here, you can at least catch me in other places. So what do my future plans look like? I want to continue making videos back on this channel, in coordinates with the brand that I've made for myself. I'll keep my political ramblings to short-form posts and comments on all forms of social media that I happen to exist on, which, despite my best efforts, is more than I'd like, and start making entertaining content. I wish to be thought-provoking on a smaller, more niche scale, and continue to be entertaining for the masses. As much as I'd love to get people to care about the fact that they are statistically getting underpaid, I just don't have the heart to anymore. I'm an entertainer, I'm not a political advocate. I'm on TikTok, although it is mostly just me being annoying about the Eye for Talent podcast, which you can actually catch a glimpse of here.
Because every now and again, I just make a throwaway video that I feel like nobody's going to get. And they rarely do, right? But that was my cleanser of I have this energy in me and I don't know why, but I really want to make a Nickelback remix with the Breaking Bad theme song. And I don't know where to put it. And I can't do that on The Escapist.
Fired instantly. That said, if this gets enough traction, maybe I'll start making more and better, more diverse content on there. No exaggeration, the last 6 months or so have just kind of been podcast clips and me advertising the podcast. Eventually, I have plans to become someone's part-time editor, although do not let this video be used as an example, please, for the love of God. And eventually, I plan on attempting to get into voice acting and freelance writing. So ultimately, what I'm saying here is that I will not have an ounce of free time until I'm either dead or asleep, which is just a free trial version of death. That said, I have some interesting content on the way for this channel, and I can give people sneak peeks of content that they can expect to see in the future, assuming it isn't already out by the time you see this video. So let's start with this channel. I've got a video planned for detailing games that I used to play as a child, because if you haven't seen my other content that I make, I'm a gamer. I mean, you could also probably tell from the sound of my voice, but whatever. For the Nothing is Anything brand, we've got many more podcasts en route talking about relevant gaming news, examining our favorite styles of games and why we like them, doing indie game book clubs and all sorts of fun indie games, and more. On top of that, we have YouTube videos every week on Thursdays. There really is no pattern to this, with the one exception being that we have an indie game book club video that comes out the day after the podcast episode of the same name comes out. For my secondary channel, which is basically my primary channel at this point, I think I might be uploading side projects from my potential future and being someone's part-time editor, because what else am I going to upload there anymore? As for stuff not pertaining to YouTube and Twitch, I'll continue to release banger episodes of the Eye for Talent podcast every Thursday. I'll continue to post my annoying-ass TikToks. And I might even post more annoying-ass TikToks about voice acting, editing, freelance writing, as well as everything I've talked about above. All in all, there's a lot going on right now. And I don't mean that in the way of I'm going through hard times and I got evicted and my grandpa died. No, none of that. Although, shout out to people who do have those problems, because I wholeheartedly respect the time you're taking off. It seems pretty necessary. That's just not where I'm at. And if anything, me having a lot going on means that you will continue to see better content than the content you'll find on this channel, as a direct result of the fact that I've been using this YouTube channel since I was 12. And even when I was 19, my content was still garbage. When I hear these kinds of comments come out of their mouths, it discourages me to keep getting better at what I love to do, and it cripples my already low self-esteem with publicly showing off my skills to people. Now, I think I might actually be able to finally, consistently make content to the quality that I would be happy with. Although I haven't peaked, and maybe I never will. But that's the magic of, doing more stuff than what is ever reasonable or necessary. I do think it's pretty funny that I made one PS at the end of a different video I made a few months back, being hey, all my stuff broke, but now I'm back to making dope content, and then continued to not make dope content. I've been out of the game for a long time now because literally all of my equipment broke, and I didn't really have the money to get everything back. But now that I do, this shit's getting rebooted. I didn't really have any excuse. I was just dumb and not disciplined. I mean, I'm still dumb and not disciplined now, but at least you can see a degree of consistency coming from me elsewhere, so that's always a good time. If I repeat that trend and I only make 2 to 3 videos here before disappearing into the ether again, just know that the links in the description are where you can best find the collective efforts of me and my team, aka where I am being consistent and making dope content. Thanks. Bye.